This is problem 11 from page 310. It's in section 4.3. And let me go ahead and read the directions. It says, in all these problems, 11 through 18, we want to first sketch a right triangle that corresponds to the trigonometric function of the acute angle theta. Then we want to use Pythagorean's theorem to determine the third side. And we can find the other 5 trigonometric functions. There are 6. They gave us 1. So let me remind you of what the 6 are. You guys need to memorize these. Here are the 6. Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So the first thing we need to do is, let's go ahead and write the one that they gave us. They gave us the sine of this angle, and the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So let me just write our answer, or the answer they gave us, 5/6. And if we do what they say, which is to construct a right triangle, I'll sketch one here. Your sketch doesn't have to be perfect, but you probably want to label the right angle here. A right triangle has to have a right angle. And we said that the sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means they gave us 5/6. The opposite is 5, and the hypotenuse is 6. Let's call this our working angle, theta. The side that's opposite this is 5. So I'm going to put the 5 here. And the hypotenuse, always the longest side, we'll put here. What we don't have yet is this side, but let's label all 3 of these sides. Let's remember that the Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You can use any letters, but I'm going to stick with these 3. We'll call this side A, this side B, and the hypotenuse is C. So to find the part that we don't have, part B, we're going to need to fill in what we do have. A squared is going to be 5 squared. We don't have the B yet. But C squared is going to be 6 squared. C is 6. So let's simplify this as 25 plus b squared is equal to 36, 6 squared. To find b squared, to isolate this, we need to subtract 25. We can do that in our head. I'm not going to write it down. If we just subtract 25 from both sides,
Selena Luera, would you please come to the main office?
We're going to get,
Selena Luera, would you please come to the main office? Thank you.
We're going to get b squared is 36 minus 25 is 11. So b will be the square root of 11. And I'm going to write that here, the square root. We can also call it radical 11 or root 11. I'll use all 3 terms here. So we've got all 3 sides of the triangle now, the opposite, the adjacent, and the hypotenuse. We need to write the cosine. That'll be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Well, the adjacent, if we label these, this side is opposite. I'm going to label them in green. This side is opposite because it's on the opposite end of the triangle as our working angle. This is the hypotenuse. Remember, adjacent means next to. So the side that is next to the angle is B, adjacent. So to find the cosine, we need the adjacent and the hypotenuse. The adjacent is radical 11, and the hypotenuse is 6. So our cosine is radical 11, or square root of 11, over 6. And our tangent is going to be the opposite over the adjacent. I'm not going to write it here just yet, because we need to simplify it. The opposite is 5, the adjacent is radical 11. So the answer to this is 5 over radical 11. But remember, we're not allowed to leave our answer with a radical on the denominator. We have to simplify that, or rationalize our denominator. To do that, we're going to multiply it by, let me write this first. I know it says radical 11 over radical 11, but it's really equal to 1. And if we multiply something by this green 1, it's going to be the same, it'll just look different. The way it will look is simplified. The denominator will be 11, and the numerator will be 5 times radical 11. So that's what we want to put for our answer, 5 root 11 over 11, or 5 times radical 11 over 11. Now to find the other three, they're just the reciprocals. Instead of opposite over hypotenuse, this will be the hypotenuse over the opposite. We'll just reverse these, and we'll get 6 over 5. We'll do the same thing here, but we're going to need to simplify it. If I reverse the 6 and the radical 11, I need to rationalize that by multiplying by radical 11 over radical 11. The denominator will be 11, and the numerator will be 6 times radical 11, 6 times root 11. We can do the same thing here. First, we're going to reverse these. So the 11 will be in the numerator, and the 5 root 11 will be in the denominator. 11 over 5 root 11. Once again, we're going to need to rationalize this denominator by multiplying by root 11 over root 11. This denominator will be, this part will be 11. Radical 11 times radical 11 is 11. So the denominator will be 5 times 11. The numerator will be 11 times the square root of 11. And we're going to be able to simplify these two. So our final answer there will be the square root of 11, or radical 11 over 5. And those are the 6 trigonometric functions. They already gave us one, when our sine is 5/6.